Malacanang is vowing accountability after reports that the Public Works Department built only 22 classrooms this year. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said President Marcos has ordered a catch-up plan to address the 146,000 classroom shortage and directed DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon to investigate. Castro stressed that those responsible will be held accountable. The controversy comes as the DPWH faces corruption allegations involving flood control projects, which according to Education Secretary Sonny Angara, caused the neglect of classroom construction. Joining us is Pasig City Representative Roman Romulo, Chairperson of the House Committee on Basic Education and Culture. Good morning, Kong. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes, good morning, Angela, and those watching and listening, good morning to all of us.
Yes, so your initial reaction, 22 classroom lang daw yung nagawa this year.
Yes, and I think that is correct, that the President instructed the DPWH and the Department of Education to investigate. Kasi kung titingnan natin, if we look at the budget for this year, para sa classroom building, I think that should really medyo nasa 28 billion yun, and initially may na-release na. So the question really is, bakit hindi nagawa? And again, it is not as simple as saying that maybe because napunta lahat sa flood control yung attention. Because where are the most congested classrooms? NCR and Region 4A, Calabarzon.
Right.
In NCR, to which my district belongs to, I think DepEd should also internally ask itself, bakit hindi nag-build ng classrooms dito? First, I think they should review what they define as congested. Because sa nangyari rin dito, sa Metro Manila, ang ginawa ng iba ay nag-double shifting sila, nag-triple shifting sila. And I want to know, did they consider that already? Is that automatically considered congested or not? Pagkaalam ko, there was a time that was not automatic. But that is also wrong kasi hindi tama ang magkaroon ng double shift and triple shift. Ang dapat nating standard is one shift per school. Pero dito sa atin, sa NCR, may double shift, may triple shift.
Yes.
May natatapos ng 7:30. So, I think they should ask their SDOs, their principals, did they consider this as congested or not? Kasi pag hinati nga naman nila, less than 50 yung classroom. Di ba? Ang teacher-student ratio. But then that's also wrong. So again, they should also ask, I think, they should review their policy on this. Kasi ang nangyari ay baka hindi nila consider congested dahil nag-double, triple shift, which is wrong. Second, ang sabi nga ang congested is NCR and Calabarzon. If you take a look, NCR lang. NCR has the dito po, medyo mataas yung mga SEF ng ating mga cities, di ba? Because an SEF is based on the real property taxes, di ba? So, ang tanong, may pondo ang lokal, bakit hindi nagtayo?
Pero hindi nagagamit.
O hindi rin sila nagtayo? Di ba? It was not, it cannot be said that solely na national lang ang magbibuild. Kasi may SEF eh. Ang Calabarzon, hindi, again, DepEd should take a look. Kung sino saan doon ang may kulang na classrooms, baka naman yun yung issue really is utilization also by the local government units. It's not necessarily all on the shoulders of the national government, di ba? Kasi yun ang in-identify. NCR and Calabarzon are the two most congested classroom places, di ba? But then, mayayaman yung syudad doon eh. So meron silang SEF. May education fund sila which they could have used. So, bakit hindi nagamit? So, I think, again, the easy solution really is build classrooms. Tama yon. But then the question is, why were they not built? Tama si Presidente doon, as DPWH and DepEd, to take a look. But hindi. And identify the cities na kailangan sana, pero ba't hindi nag-build?
Bakit hindi
Kasi may SCF naman sila. They could have, is it a question of buildable space? Kasi baka punong-puno na rin talaga sa Metro Manila, or masyadong mahal yung mga lupa na hindi naman ang may-ari, gobyerno. So there are various reasons, and I think moving forward, DPWH and DepEd should take a look at the various reasons. Hindi, kasi tama yun eh. Classroom talaga that's a simple solution, but why was it not built?
Right.
Secondly, we should also take a look at the fact na hindi naman dapat, we should also be, ano sabi ng EDCOM 2 and PIDS? Ang pinaka-congested yung elementary. That is grades 1 to 6. Right now, meron tayong voucher system sa junior high school, 7 to 10. Meron din tayong voucher system sa 11 and 12. Pero wala tayong voucher system sa 1 to 6, which is the most populated, yun yung congested. Ano ba yung voucher system? Yung voucher system is government gives financial, yung IGASPE, bibigyan ng financial assistance yung mga nag-aaral sa DepEd schools na congested na para makalipat sa private school na
pero
malapit
kung
lang.
may issue din dyan. Pero another
Yes.
issue yan, yung mga ghost students daw.
But we have a new law which Congress, the House of Representatives has passed on third and final reading. Pati yun, in-address na po namin ang issue. Bakit po? Bakit nagka-allegedly ghost students sa 11 and 12? Because the policy then, dahil di ba we introduced K-12. Nung na-introduce yung K-12, napansin ng DepEd going to 2016, hindi sapat yung number of classrooms. So ang sinabi ng DepEd noong 2014 or 2015, they issued a department order saying that kung private school ka, magtayo ka ng 11 and 12, bibigyan ka namin ng voucher. I think that was a recipe for disaster, di ba?
And I think nangyari pa yun, mas namayagpag during the pandemic. No? Pero kung, eto muna, pag-usapan muna natin yung mga classrooms. No? Kanina nabanggit mo nga yung congested na mga classrooms. And I did a report a few weeks ago dun sa may Sangangdaan sa may Antipolo Rizal na tumatawid pa sila sa ilog para makarating dun sa kanilang school na 4 o'clock in the morning because first shift sila. 5 o'clock, dapat start na yung klase nila. So dito lang napapakita yung sinasabi mo na 3 shifts na doon yung mga estudyante. Now, the question here regarding the classroom, is it a question of lack of funds or misuse of funds or prioritization?
Again, exactly. No? Sa tingin ko for 2025 and previous years, meron naman talagang budget. May kita naman yun sa GAA. So I think that is why tama yung instruction ni Presidente sa DPWH and sa DepEd, find out what is the reason, bakit hindi nga tayo nakabuild. Kasi ang pinaka-congested are NCR and Region 4A. Pag pinag-usapan mo ang NCR, obviously dito, may SCF, yung mga local government units natin, may kakayanan sila to locally build. So ang question is, ba't hindi nakabuild? Was it because wala ng buildable space? Kasi puno na rin ng Metro Manila ng commercial, school buildings, iba-iba. So that's the first question. Second, ilan pa ba yung government property within Metro Manila o Calabarzon na kailangan ba i-purchase ng gobyerno muna yon? Kasi yun ang rule, you have government must own that. So it's really identifying, first of all, kasi identified naman NCR and Calabarzon ang pinaka-congested. So ano yung rason? Mayaman ng syudad, may local funds naman, bakit hindi nakabuild? So it must be either buildable space or maybe it's really the how they considered which schools are congested or not. Kasi
prioritization,
sa akin, automatic, pag more than 1 shift ka, congested ka na.
Exactly.
Kasi yung standard is 1 shift lang. Pag nag-double shift ka, hindi pwede na, nag-double shift po kami, kaya per class namin, yung ratio, pasok na sa 1 is to less than 50. So again, all of those things should be reviewed. Ang sinabi mo, Angela, yung sa Rizal, that is another, we also passed on third and final reading in the House last month, yung last mile schools. Kasi meron talaga mga lugar sa Pilipinas na medyo remote yung lugar. So you have to build a school and we call that the last mile schools. Alam mo, dati meron na yung mga program. Pero under this new proposal we have, hindi pwedeng one size fits all. Kasi hindi naman pwede na bibuild ka na ng parang standard ng classroom sa lahat ng lugar.
Exactly.
Kasi last mile school, ang problema dyan, hindi lang yung classroom. Problema rin dyan yung teacher availability. Problema rin dyan, maaari yung roads leading to that place. So hindi pa pwedeng one size fits all na kung ano lang yung gagawin mo sa isang lugar, gano'n rin dapat nang gawin sa mga tinatawag na last mile schools. But in the House of Representatives, we also passed it on third and final reading, giving the Department of Education flexibility to be able to fund yung mga nasabi mong last mile schools na magkocross ka pa ng river bago makapunta doon. Kasi ang tagal ng problema yan, dapat ma-address yan. And I think,
parang bata pa lang ako, yun pinag-uusapan.
And the issue there is, one size does not fit all, and that is exactly what the last mile schools
Kung sinabi kasi ni Secretary Angara, he's looking at, giving the sole responsibility to DepEd at saka LGU instead of DPWH in terms of building classrooms. What do you have to say to that?
Again, I think Secretary Angara would be in a better position than I am kasi kitang-kita naman yung problema. But again, just as a reminder, during the time of the Aquino administration, 2011 or 2012, they did that. They transferred it from the DPWH to the Department of Education. Pero at that point in time, hindi rin makakonstruct. Kasi ang Department of Education is a department focused on academics. Hindi po siya engineering. It has an engineering unit. Pero hindi naman yun yung thrust niya talaga. Secondly, pagdating ng the problem really for me is probably the procurement, the bidding. And when
Partnering with private partners, is that okay also?
Actually sa amin,
That's what
that's the
Brother
other
Luis
solution.
Tro did before.
Oh yes, they did that, and I think DepEd should also learn from that that episode. Kung maalala ninyo, ginawa po yun before eh. Ang nangyari po doon, yun yung mga container vans. Di ba yung container vans, yun yung ginawa nilang classrooms sa mga going towards the north and going towards the south. Pero di ba, even at that point, at that time, sinasabi nga nung marami, ang init eh. Kasi nga container van, nilagay mo sa Central Luzon. So,
kawawa na may mga estudyante.
kawawa, that's why natigil yon. Secondly, it's very difficult to compare, kasi nakita ko rin, Angela, may nagko-compare na, una-una, tingin ko rin mahal yung classrooms ng estimate ng government. Pero to compare it to what is being done by private now is probably apples and oranges. Bakit? Nakita ko merong isang furniture na pinakita nila sa isang probinsya, gumawa ang private ng one story. Pag one story, syempre walang foundation 'yon. Yung foundation nun hindi ganun katatag ang kailangan. So syempre that is why it's apples and oranges for me. Kailangan talaga ipaghambing, but in Congress now we filed a bill giving the President emergency powers with respect to a building of classrooms. Kasi ang problema talaga is the price, the bidding, procurement niyan eh. So dito sinasabi namin sa bagong panukalang batas namin is that we should allow, there's an emergency situation. Ang shortage is, it varies ano. Sabi ng iba 148,000, sabi ng iba 165,000 classrooms. Sabi rin, I read somewhere, sabi ng DepEd, it will take them how many decades?
2028,
how many decades to fill that up, di ba? And you have to add na yung mga nakatayo ng buildings ngayon, kailangan ng marami in disrepair na. So kailangan mo pang i-repair rin yun, di ba? So we filed actually 2 bills on that. Yung isa is really with respect to allowing the President to be able to negotiate contracts even with private. Kunyari yung mga traditionally hindi sumasama sa government bidding pero magagaling. Di ba daming buildings dito na ginagawa ng mga malalaking private construction companies na hindi naman sila nagbibid. Maybe we should allow the President under emergency situation to be able to, at least for the next 1 or 1.5 or 2 years, to be able to negotiate classroom buildings with yung very reputable private construction companies para mapabilis natin yung pag-construct.
Kasi grabe, by 2028 daw baka daw maging 200,000 na yung classrooms na backlog natin.
But it's a question of giving the President, for me, emergency powers. Kasi it's really a question of procurement. Bidding na naman yan. Kahit national yan o local lang gumawa, pero hindi under emergency powers, you will still have to go through the bidding procedure, which takes such a long time. Yun talaga yung isang problema, yung kahabaan rin ng time doon.
Kung I know you're very passionate about education, ito nga yung committee mo. One last question regarding it before we move forward to another issue because we don't have much time. Bakit po sa tingin niyo medyo contradicting yung statement ng DPWH versus DepEd doon sa mga naipapatay yung mga classroom? Sa DPWH parang sinabi nila 23,000 na daw as of 2018, pero sa DepEd parang 21 classrooms pa lang yung napapatay or 11 if I'm not mistaken. Bakit may mga ganong mga statements?
That I'm not too sure of. Dapat talaga mag-usap lang ang DepEd and DPWH. They both belong anyway to the executive department. Para yung numbers nila, yung data nila, ma-match lang nila. And sometimes it's a matter na magkapaliwanagan lang siguro kung ano yung considered na classroom building. I think yun lang ang kailangan gawin. At I think with the new leadership of DPWH and the new leadership of DepEd, kita mo naman, very flexible naman yung mga secretary doon. I mean, I'm sure they can talk to each other, get their teams together to be able to reconcile.
Right. Okay. So I cannot not ask you this
Yes.
about the Diskaya, of course. Ito po ay sinabi nila na kayo daw po ay sangkot dito sa mga maanumalyang flood control projects. Kayo po ang nag-iisang congressman sa Pasig. No? Natural po, lahat po ng mga maanumalya doon ay sa inyo po pwedeng mailink. Diba? So why do you think that is? Bakit po nila kayo sinasabihin? Have you met the Diskaya before? Have you dealt with them?
Unang-una, no, syempre taga-Pasig rin sila. Makikita-kita kami sa mga activities, kunyari may binyagan or any church event, or magkakaroon talaga ng ganun. Pero alam rin na ng lahat, lalo na sa lungsod ng Pasig, nakalaban namin sila sa politika noong 2025 at alam rin natin sa 2028, most probably sila na naman yung aming kalaban. Unang-una sa lungsod ng Pasig, sa totoo, wala namang kaming ghost project. Pagdating sa standard o substandard, I think the DPWH should take a look kasi sa
pero
tingin
bakit
namin
kanila pinangalanan?
politika nga eh. Di ba kasi magkakalaban kami sa politika. So I think, but again, the basic is there. Sa amin, maliwanag naman, wala namang ghost project. At least wala akong alam na ghost project. Pangalawa, yung standard o substandard, I think that DPWH should be the ones to be able to make that decision.
Right. Okay, doon po sa kanilang statement, linking your name doon sa mga anomalous flood control projects, sinabi nila, there's a certain Aristotle Ramos, district engineer, saying
District
na
engineer
bagman
po
mo
yun.
daw po niya, bagman daw nyo siya.
Again, yun yung statement nila. Yes. But again,
But do you know him?
siyang DE po ng siya pa ang DE ng, hindi lang ng Pasig, siya yung DE po ng, I think, 4 or 5 cities within the eastern sector of, syempre, kunyari, magba-budget hearing, magtatanong kayo kung ano yung, tatanungin kanila kung ano yung tingin mo kailangan na construction na gawin sa syudad mo. At yun, base naman yun sa mga recommendation ng HOA namin, recommendation ng barangay namin. So, again, that is what a question to ask because at the end of the day, paano kami magko-coordinate kung hindi kami magkakaano? And I hope, that question is clearly, I mean, how can you not coordinate with your DE? I mean, I hope it's not it's obviously, kailangan mag-coordinate di ba? I mean,
There's another name that they're asking you, Angelica or Angelita Garucha.
Yes.
So,
Again
ito
po,
naman
siya
daw sa DPWH.
DPWH siya. Siya rin po yung, sa totoo po, kunyari may pumunta sa office na HOA or kaya barangay or kaya sektor na nagre-request. So, tatawag ang DPWH para kung meron silang coordinator, liaison officer na siya ang titingin kung ano yung, kasi hindi naman ako engineer. So, kunyari ang request kalsada o kaya sa school, ang request sa school building, tatawagan mo DB para silang pupunta doon, magre-report sila back to you saying na yes, kailangan doon ng building, kompleto naman, yun talaga yun. So, again,
so solely yung transaction mo with them is based on the process.
Angela, I'm surprised at that question because it's obvious naman. I mean, will you not coordinate with the department involved? I mean, end of the day, di ba sila yung expertise? Pareho rin po yan sa DepEd. Pag may school building, magkoconsult ka sa principal, magkoconsult ka sa SDO, magkoconsult ka din sa DepEd. So, I think that is the regular procedure there.
What about your SALN? A month ago, I think
Yes.
you mentioned that willing po kayo mag-release na inyong SALN.
Yes.
House Speaker Diaz already released his. Kamusta po
House
yun sa
Speaker
inyo?
Boji D?
Opo.
Sa totoo po, narinig ko, ready naman ako kasi sinasubmit ko naman yung taon-taon and I think that's the right thing to do. I'm just, narinig ko lang, sinabi lang ni Speaker na kailangan ng, may guidelines silang ilalabas. So, just for me to give courtesy to the House leadership, I'm just waiting for that.
Alright. Sige. Nako, we have so much questions pa. Gusto pa natin mahimayan but unfortunately we don't have much time. But hopefully, we can still invite you over. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Pasig City Representative Roman Romulo, Chairperson of the House Committee on Basic Education and Culture. Maraming salamat po.